The new Audi Q3, third generation of the global bestseller. I first showed you the new car in Germany more than 2 months ago, and now I am back with the review. Welcome to Scotland and the Audi Q3 review on Acko Drive.
Now, the Audi engineers seem to be very focused on one particular point. We heard it over and over again in the briefs. They didn't really want to change the old car too much. So even in terms of dimensions, it's marginally grown in length, right? It's really very similar, the whole proposition. So why? Well, because they thought that was already a pretty good package overall and a good size and a good attribute. I had heard this about Scotland. It's my first time here. 1 minute sunshine, the next minute pouring rain. Yes, it's entertaining, not, but it's gorgeous too, so no complaints. Lots of things about the car take some getting used to, and those are the things obviously that have been changed. Most of it is good. The thing that's taken the most getting used to is driving here in Scotland, which is a right-hand drive market. So you drive on the left side of the road, but we have cars here from Germany, so we are driving left-hand drive cars. Just takes a few minutes to adjust, but no biggie really. But that's on a lighter note. I've already spent a fair amount of time with this car now, and it's got a lot of road presence. And I think when it's moving, it tends to look a little more ample and SUV-like than when it's actually standing still. Even though I know the design has been done to try and create that little bit of dynamism or movement, even when the car is static, but it looks great on the road. A brief reprieve from the rain, so it's a good time to get out and take in some of this beautiful view and vista, and of course, talk a little bit more about the car's styling as well. Now, we saw that with this car, the Q5 in the new generation, is when we saw a very distinct departure from that typical Audi styling, new design language. You look at it, you know it's the Q5, and yet you saw all these elements like this deep recess here, the connected tail lights, very distinct, very different. In the front as well, of course, the LED DRLs going up and, you know, the grille getting a little bit wider and more mean looking. Look at this. It gets even more enhanced and almost more aggressive. It's a great derivative of that same new design language. All that criticism about Audi doing more of the same, going away with these cars, and I quite like it. Now, I know when I showed you this car, what is it, like 2-3 months ago, the first time, that was when we talked about the styling, and many of you said, hey, you know what, it doesn't look like an Audi, or I don't like it, it looks too polarizing. In a way, that's a good thing because it gives the brand a sense of a new identity and not more of the same. It's split into 2 parts, says the designers. So the beautiful design element is what sits above this line that kind of grows out of this edge of the hood and goes all the way to the back. And then you got all the technical stuff sitting down below because there is a lot of technology, everything from ADAS to all these lighting systems, the matrix LED, optional lights, the OLEDs in the back. There is a fair amount going on this car. These are sort of wings, L wings they call them, which really give the car a very distinct face now and very different from not just the Q3 but all the Audi Q SUVs.
Audi has 17, 18, 19 and 20-inch alloy options depending on the trim and variant. My bet would be the 18 and 19-inch options for India. I also think we will have Quattro all-wheel drive.
Well, I'll tell you, the other thing that bothers me a little bit is that we don't get the smaller engines. The 1.5 engine, it's actually really ample, it's great, and it's actually a lot of fun to drive. We're probably going to get the 2-liter, though the car we're driving here is the more powerful version. It might have a slightly different output, slightly lower output version. We'll see. It could have a lot to do with our fuel type. It could have a lot to do with the kind of efficiency Audi India wants, and that's why the car is still many months away. It'll only come sometime, I'm guessing middle or second half of 2026.
Here in Europe, you don't just get the 1.5 petrol, there's also a diesel and a new plug-in hybrid or PHEV.
I think the more important thing is about the new sort of driving position. The car has a very comfortable position there's been a lot of attention to ergonomics and a lot of attention to that detail, including the use of a new steering system. The steering position, the steering shape, and also its sort of overall angle and reach, very precise. You can get a really comfortable driving position and lots of control, but it's also a progressive steering. That's where things get interesting, because by using technology cleverly, what you have is minimal input but maximum output, in the sense that you don't have to turn the wheel all the way, but you can still get a more direct or a more obvious or a deeper turn. So the progressive steering is something that works with your driving behavior. It works with what part of or what road you're on, and how much of a turn you need to make. So it's intelligent, and honestly, now that I've spent time with the car, I know it's not just a gimmick.
I am hoping the spec coming to India gets the progressive steering, because it's definitely good to have and a differentiator from the competition.
On the whole, I totally buy into the better sense of control, the more dynamic drive feel, and I love the driving position, but it feels like a car. It feels more hatch-like. I don't see a problem with that, because it makes the car really comfortable and really sort of precise to drive. It's really a lot of fun. But if you think about the competition set, well, then, there are cars that will feel more exaggeratedly SUV-like. In the Indian context, is that important? Or do you think this kind of attribute is better? Tell me in the comments. The part that has been changed or enhanced is the handling and the body control on the car. So there's been a definite effort to try and increase that sense of control. The overall dynamic nature of the car is better, and it is something that you can feel when you're driving the car, especially at slightly higher speeds, and especially on some of these twisty B roads. And then there's also the work that's been done on the steering position that I talked about, which gives you a better sense of control, and the suspension, which has been tweaked big time.
The new Q3 comes in 4 variants. The standard car comes fairly well loaded and includes LED lighting, basic ADAS, and the MMI infotainment suite. Next is the Tech variant, which adds adaptive cruise control and a reverse camera. The Tech Plus trim also throws in progressive steering and more advanced lighting, including optional matrix LED lights up front and OLEDs at the back. The Tech Pro is fully loaded with dynamic suspension that has damper control, 360-degree cameras, and also more advanced ADAS functions. The OLEDs on this car are once again customizable, and you can choose the car's DRL signature and tail lamp pattern from multiple options.
You get so many more features now, and it even has the adaptive cruise control with the lane change feature, which means the car understands your intent and changes lanes for you, obviously checking to see what's going on in traffic around you and whether it's a legal lane change that's permitted on that particular road. The car also has this optional lighting suite. Audi has been doing so much work with lighting, and it gets more and more intelligent now. You've seen this happening with some of the other cars. The Q3 now gets it, where at night when you're driving, and I got a chance to drive the car at night, by the way, so you can see some of what I'm talking about now just over what I'm saying. The idea is that light plays an important role in helping you navigate better at night. So it's not just about adapting to oncoming high beams or responding to other traffic by dipping your beam. It's also things like lane change. It's also things like warning you, using that little ADAS through lighting by warning you that, hey, you're straying out of your lane, you need to come back, or warning you where the edge of the road is in case it's very dark, not well marked. This will only work at slightly higher speeds, which is when you need it, and it'll only work when there's no street lighting. But otherwise, it's great to have, and I absolutely love the lane change feature where you put on your indicator to change lanes, and as the car crosses the dotted line, the light shifts into the other lane, almost sort of welcoming you. It almost shows you the way. And then when you come into the other lane, the light shifts back into just your lane. So it goes wide across the whole road, and then it just kind of narrows itself onto just your lane. Pretty amazing. And the sun's out again. What do you know?
As expected, Audi Drive Select lets you change the car's driving character with its usual different modes.
And it's raining again. The The big highlight of the interior has to be this freestanding panoramic display. That's what Audi calls it, not me. It's the big curved screen. We saw it on the Q6 for the first time, and you know what? Actually, it is really well done. It doesn't seem offensively large like it does seem in so many other cars these days, especially the EVs, and yet it is large. I mean, this section of it, which is the virtual cockpit, that's 11.9 inch, and then that one is 12.8. It still doesn't feel intimidating, and you've still got a fair number of the functions on little buttons and things here. You don't have to go to that big screen for everything, and I like that. The steering, it's completely new and redesigned. You do have a lot of the familiar settings and buttons here, and you can change the view of that virtual cockpit from the map, like I was saying when I was driving. All of that is a good thing, nice to have. The graphics, very crisp. In fact, by the way, I want to quickly just highlight here that even on the screen, everything that you see, the drive select and the images of the car that pop up and the different settings and the different functions, all exactly like you see on the Audi app and on the Audi website. So that was consciously done, and Audi says it wants to give the same impression or the same feeling to its users that they get online when they get into the car as well. The compact command interface, another wonderful term. Here it is. It's like a console. What it does is basically it fits everything into just this bar behind the steering wheel. And you have these sections like this one, which is a little notch goes down. That's the indicator. That's right indicator. You have a little button here. That's the wiper. This little button in the foreground is the rear wiper. And then you have this little round dial. So you can go from the auto to the switch off function for the wipers. And you can flash the high beam by just doing that, just pulling it towards you. Everything in terms of, I guess, how you do it is a lot like how it used to be. It's just not on a stalk. And on this side, you have the gear changes. So why is that a good thing? Well, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's nice that it's moved up here to the column because it frees up all the space down here. We'd already seen the gear shifter becoming really tiny with the Audis, and it was housed down here. Now, even more space, the wireless charger, material quality, all of that is done really well. In fact, I have to say, the not over leather luxury look, this whole sporty S-line look totally works for me. I'm going to ask you a question here. Fabric seats, really nice high-end fabrics. Isn't that just so much better? Would you like to see Audi or other brands bring seats like that to our market and not be obsessed with leather or vegan leather, but just these kind of fabrics? I think it's really comfortable. Quick look at the back. Vents in the rear, USB points, even your own temperature control, things you did not see on the Q3 earlier. Really comfortable, in fact, very comfortable seat in terms of the back angle. Okay on under thigh support, not great, and okay on legroom. Now, the question I asked you on that last video that I did a few months ago, I will ask it to you again. Could Audi have gone with a wider car? Sure. Could it have gone with a longer one? Absolutely. Could it have a long wheelbase version? Of course, we've seen that happen now over multiple markets and multiple models from multiple brands. For India, is that what Audi should do? In my opinion, no, because I think this is exactly what this car is supposed to be. If you want a bigger car, get the Q5. But I'm going to get stuck on this whole point about the seats again. Look at this, just look at these fabric seats. Smart, it's very sharp looking, great material quality, very well put together. This little sense of a faux suede, if you will, the stitching just looks so nice. It's very comfortable, it's plump. The material quality of everything is great, nice sound system. Is this too small for you, especially with the iX1 in the market, the long wheelbase? I want to know what you think. You already know what I think. So lots that I've told you about the new Q3. You have to react to it. How excited are you for this car to come to India? It's going to be the next big thing, because don't forget, overall, in Audi's many years of being in India, this has always been the overall best-selling model. Cumulatively, Audi has sold, of all the cars in India it's sold, the Q3 has been the best seller. It'll only arrive in 2026, which is the sad part. We don't get it right away, but it should be there in, well, I'm hoping 8 or 9 months. React to the car, tell me what you like about it, tell me what you don't.